live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Loungetime. I'm your host, Rich Saile, and today we officially begin the push through the second half of the NFL season, particularly regular season, into the playoffs, but we've got a couple more weeks to go before we get there, all right? I promise you guys, we are going to have some guests lined up in late November, early to middle December. I'm working some things out. Your boy also commentates Rider Women's Basketball at the same time. Yes, I do commentate games for them. If you all want to give me a listen, we're going to be on Tuesday at LIU at 1077thebronx.com. But this is my show, Loungetime. You guys all look forward to that, okay? We got a lot to get into today. Week 9 action. We're wrapping it up. We're writing the chapter for Week 9. Moving on to Week 10, where we had an epic Thursday night game that was must-see TV. So we will have guests for the second half of the season, which I cannot wait for. All right, I'm working on the NBA nerd coming down because I'm hearing rumors already that there's 4 teams that are contending for the title, and then everybody else, and I'm going, wait, what? That don't make sense. But we're not talking about that today. I'm going to get the NBA nerd on soon. I know he likes to talk NFL playoffs too. I'm going to have some conversations with him. We also are going to have some people coming in for the playoffs. I'm working on some guests, some new guests as well. I had a friend of mine reach out to me, a new subscriber to the show. He wants to join, so we're working out the little details there. But I promise you guys, we will have some guests, some that you know, some new ones. We're going to make the second half of the season exciting. But let's get into Week 9. We have a lot of close games that we could talk about a little bit. Some that weren't close, but that you guys probably are waiting to see some attention on. But I'm going to start with the interesting angle that I might start with, and I'm going to actually start with one that recently made headlines during the week, because I kind of want to just get this over with. This is a shit game, but I really want to talk about this because we had our second head coach firing of the season. Dennis Allen got fired by the Saints on Monday after losing at Carolina, and Derek Carr did come back into the starting lineup. So the Saints make the second head coach firing of the 2024 season. And I'm going to quickly go through this game because I really don't want to talk about either of these two teams. I remember I was ready to wave the white flag. Oh, the Saints are going to be one of the worst teams in football. They're garbage. I should have stuck with my gut on that because I knew they were awful. I knew they were bad, and now they're tied with the Panthers for the worst record in the NFL. Okay? God, why do I always believe early preseason hype sometimes? I got to stop doing this, man, okay? But I knew this team was terrible from the jump, and they proved it again and again and again. 7 straight losses. I'm fucking pissed because I knew this team was going to be bad too, all right? Derek Carr. He's talented. He could put up numbers. At the end of the day, he doesn't put up wins. He doesn't put up wins when you need him. He had 2 good years, 21 and 2016. He hasn't really had many good years since. Okay? Those are his only 2 good years. His numbers may think that, he should be considered for Hall of Fame. I don't even think he's close to being a Hall of Famer. I'm being honest. I don't. Okay? He has been to 1 playoff game, and he threw the game-sealing pick in that game. Other than that, he's basically... Well, he's not Jeff George because Jeff George turned it over. That was basically Jay Cutler, my era of Jeff George. So I won't say that for Derek Carr. That's being too brutal to him. But Derek Carr, just to me, He's all right. His talent is good, but he never can get wins. And I just feel like, you know what? The Saints got to rip the Band-Aid off, start from scratch. All right? Get rid of Kamara while he's got a little value now. Olave's young. Do you really think Derek Carr is the future? Because I don't see it in Spencer Rattler. I don't think Carr is the long-term solution. Okay? Their defense, they've been in salary cap hell the last couple of years. They just traded off Marshawn Lattimore to the Washington Commanders. Cameron Jordan is getting near retirement. Tyrann Mathieu, maybe a year or two left. He's fucking done. All right? There's just a lot of guys on that team. Demario Davis is up there in age. They just need to start from scratch. Go completely rebuild, bro. Okay? They are not that good. They're not going to be that good anytime soon. Just completely start the rebuild. The salary cap, get rid of all your expensive contracts because they're not worth it. They're all done. All right? They're all old and washed, and you got to go young and just get some new people because basically you're done. Speaking of Kamara, at 29 carries for 135 yards. Taysom Hill, dude, he's just a one-trick pony. He can throw it, run, catch, but at the end of the day, he's just a gadget guy. He's just a gadget guy people like to show off for fun. It's old, man. Sean Payton tried to use him like a toy, and yeah, now they don't even really use him much now with Sean Payton gone and him being in Denver, and like I said, it's not even worth, not even worth it. He's just all right, okay? Moreau had a touchdown. Kamara had 6 catches, 60 yards. When Alvin Kamara is your leading receiver, I know Olave got hurt with a concussion, so I don't want to make it seem like he would normally be the leading receiver, but you got to start rebuilding. You got to start looking at, the future. 1 sack of the Panthers, that is extremely embarrassing. Shamar Jean-Charles, he had a pick. This team just needs to rebuild. Now, Carolina, guys, I'm going to be honest, I'm not really talking much about Carolina. The only guy I'm really talking about maybe Chuba Hubbard, who just got an extension. Shout out to Chuba Hubbard. He has been balling for me, especially in fantasy. That man helped me out with a big-time win over my cousin Nicky in my fantasy league, who won last year. I knew I'd beat him, and I talked a little junk leading up to that match, and it ended up working for me. All right. I am trying to get cousin Nicky on the show with cousin Frankie. You guys all love those two guys. They have produced 2 of the highest rated Loungetime episodes. I'm working on that with them as well. I'm going to try to get him back. I'm going to try to get him on again. But yes, I'm going to try to see if I can get him right after he loses the fantasy championship. But that's besides the point. All jokes aside, cousins. We'll get you in. Bryce Young played all right. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Jatavion Sanders actually had a solid game. Xavier Leggett, the receiver they drafted, he's a stud. They had 1 sack, really, the Panthers, from Charles Harris. This team is a rebuilding team, and I had a feeling that they might split. And this game, I kind of had the Panthers to kind of win this game. But, again, I'm not surprised by this win in a way. I didn't think the Saints were looking good to begin with. Carolina, I felt like if this was any game they were going to get right, this was probably the game they were going to do it. And did I think the Saints would be that bad? I mean, we talked about it a little bit on the Sports Yammer, also on 107.7 The Bronx on Tuesdays from 10 to 11 p.m. That's some great content right there. You want to talk? You want to catch more up with me? Hey, I'm there too. All right, I'm all over though. All right, I'm a busy guy, but I make time for the peeps, especially this home studio. I love doing lounge time. Okay, this is number 1. Okay, but bottom line is the Saints are done. I am pissed that I jumped off saying that they were going to be the worst team in football this year. And I'm pissed at myself because I should have stuck with my guns on that. Stuck to my gut on that. But, whatever. Now I feel even better about that pick because I'm like, you know what? They are going to be that terrible. Dennis Allen's gone. He's more of a coordinator than a head coach anyway. But Saints need to go through a rebuild. Carolina, not really talking much about them. They're going to be in the rebuild, tanking season anyway. With my Patriots, which I don't want to talk about them today. Because, I mean, unless you guys really want to hear me talk about the Drake Maye, final drive and stuff, I'll kind of give you, my thoughts on him. I know you guys are probably wondering, Rich, what do you think of Drake Maye after a couple of games? I'll tell you. I'll tell you, people. We'll be good. We'll be good. All right? Although that game with Caleb Williams, that's going to be interesting to watch too. All right. Now, guys, I could start with Cowboys Atlanta. Honestly, I don't want to talk about that game because I've kind of said it a lot this year. So I'm going to kind of sum this up pretty quickly too. The Dallas Cowboys are done. Write them off. They're done. This team has question marks everywhere. Dak Prescott's on injured reserve. He's not the same. Mike McCarthy's going to get fired at the end of the year. They're going to move on. The defense under Mike Zimmer, I don't think it's Zimmer's fault personally. But this team, you could tell something's wrong with them. You could tell. Dan Quinn being gone has hurt them in the worst way possible. And I don't think Dallas was going to be good to begin with. I thought they would maybe sneak in as the last wild card. They don't look good. They have allocated 50% of their salary cap to Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. And you need a whole lot more going into this offseason. And Micah Parsons still has to get paid too. So Jerry Jones and company are going to have to figure out exactly what are they going to do. Because this roster is getting old and the window closed. They're done. Okay? And there's rumors Jerry's going to hire Bill Belichick. You know what our response is? Good luck with him dealing with a $60 million quarterback that's not really getting better. Good luck with staking with $35 million per year CeeDee Lamb, which you're in salary cap trouble. Your window's closed. You're going to have to pay Parsons. Your defense has struggled. Your offensive line's getting old. Zach Martin's going to retire soon. So, again, you got a lot of penalties all over, and Jerry Jones cannot help himself. He wants to be the credit for this team winning, and he knows if Belichick gets there, Belichick's going to get all the credit, and Jerry's not. So Jerry Jones, knowing the Jerry Jones that I've observed for the now 15 years I've been watching football, he's not going to hire a coach that he knows will get lion's share of the credit over him. That's why you guys will always be fucked until he is no longer owner. That's it. I don't need to elaborate anymore. I know this because I've seen it basically with observations over two really good Dallas Cowboy teams. The one with Romo, Des Bryant, DeMarco Murray, Jason Witten, the young Tyron Smith, young Travis Frederick, young Zach Martin, young DeMarcus Lawrence, with young Zeke, Dak Prescott. Okay, that window. Then you go get Parsons. You go get Trayvon Diggs. You go get CeeDee Lamb. Window's closed. It's done. This team they are the epitome of a team that will never get through the window that they need to get through. And that's that. Let's go to the Falcons a little bit. Okay. Kirk Cousins played pretty good. 19 to 24 for 222, 3 touchdowns. Not really going over the moon about this. Bijan, 19 carries for 86 yards. He's all right. Okay. Algier had a rushing touchdown. Darnell Mooney. I wish I could have started this man. I literally said to my friend at the start of this game, I'm like, I just ruined myself this week. I just made a bad move starting. I had Chuba, Amon-Ra, and why am I drawing a blank on the second receiver I just started? Because he actually ended up having a pretty solid day too. If I get the thought, it'll be there. But it was Amon-Ra. I ended up starting Chuba at flex because I had Dobbins and I had Henry, which they both helped me out big time. And I'm trying to literally think of who the guy I was going to start was, because I said to myself, Mooney's going to put up good numbers. I don't know if he's worth starting now. Cooper Kupp. How can I forget about Cooper Kupp? That dude is a baller. He actually had a solid game against Seattle. So I want to start Mooney because I knew Mooney would have a pretty good game. But I was like, Kupp and Amon-Ra have good matchups too. Those guys are gonna get the ball. I gotta go with those guys. So yeah, I would have started Mooney if I had a second flex spot, and then it definitely would have been over. Ray McLeod, Drake London had touchdowns each. Atlanta's got good receivers. It's just gonna come down to their defense and quarterback play, because we know Kirk Cousins is not a primetime performer as well. Although Atlanta's defense at 3 sacks, I'm not going to make a big deal about it because it's Dallas. They're not really playing that great. They didn't really get a lot of turnovers in this game. But Atlanta, hey, they're first place in the South. I know people are like, well, you can't complain, right? I still don't see a team that can win beyond round 1 of the playoffs. I just don't. I think Atlanta's just all right. Perfect in the red zone. Third down was mid. They had 1 turnover. They're lucky that they won by 6, but the bigger story in this game is the Cowboys are done. You can write them off now. I'm done with them. Dak's on IR. And I don't think this team, even if he was playing, I don't think they would have been saved. I think they're done. Okay? So I'm saying it right now that I'm done. I'm done with the Cowboys. Write them off. Bills-Dolphins. This is a game I actually was rooting for Buffalo because I don't think Tua is that good. And anytime the Dolphins lose and I have a chance to be within second place of the division, I'm taking that. Now, we're last for the moment. Don't troll me. I know, New England sucks. I said, though, we were going to be asked to. Starting off with Miami. Tua, 25 of 28 for 231 yards, 2 touchdowns. The numbers will say he played well. I actually didn't watch this game. All right, my old man actually watched this game more than I did because it was a better game. But I honestly did not watch this because I was like, don't even care. But Devon Achane, 12 carries, 63 yards and a touchdown. Mostert at 10 carries for 56 yards. Miami actually ran the ball for almost 5 yards a carry. Wow, they finally are running the ball more. Tyreek Hill 4 for 80. Sure, he's happy Tua's back. Achane had 8 carries, 58 yards, a touchdown out of the backfield. Jonnu Smith had more fucking yards than Jalen Waddle, but Jalen Waddle had a touchdown. You ask me how that makes sense. I have no clue how. I don't even know how Jalen Waddle finishes with 2 catches for -4 yards and ends up with a touchdown. That's crazier to me. I don't know how that happens. But Miami defense sucks again. They are not very good. Chop Robinson, he had their lone sack. They have no takeaways on defense. No, actually they did. Jalen Ramsey, I apologize. Jalen Ramsey had the 1 pick on Josh Allen. But Miami's defense, still not good. Still not good, and their offense, they could score, but if you can't stop anybody, does it really matter? Kind of does. Kind of does if you can't stop anybody. And that's really Miami. For the Bills, Josh Allen, 25 of 39, 235 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Pretty good game for him. Barely had more yards than Tua. Had more touchdowns. He had thrown 1 pick more than Tua, but I still think he outplayed Tua. The running game for Buffalo did get about 5 yards a clip. They only ran it 19 times to 39. I was shocked it was that low. Ray Davis had a touchdown for 63 yards. Mac Hollins had a touchdown score. Quentin Morris had one too. The Bills defense also had 1 sack, and that was courtesy of Greg Rousseau. No takeaways either. No, Kyrie Elam had a fumble recovery from Mostert. But how about a 61-yarder by Tyler Bass to win the game? And again, that's big. Now, I want to just see something real quick before I go into this game a little bit, because I like to make a big deal about the missed opportunities, right? Josh Allen, basically, they could have put him up early. Ramsey picked him off in the red zone, right? Miami out of the locker room, they fumbled. And again, that would have been a huge play because, again, you could have had a chance to go up 2 scores. But Mostert fumbled. And good. Fuck the Dolphins. I really want to say fuck Miami because I hate them in my division. Both teams were 50% on third down. That's great. Buffalo 2-5 in the red zone. That is not good. That needs to be seriously looked at when you playing a team. And I'm going to talk about the Bills' upcoming game because I might have an interesting play people don't really might expect coming, but I'm going to say it right now. Might be a trap game this week against the Colts because you're looking ahead to Kansas City the following week. Might be an interesting play on guarantees. Miami had 8 penalties for 57 yards. Both had a turnover. Really? Miami, you lost in a 61-yarder, but your defense is not good. So I never picked the Dolphins to make the playoffs to begin with, and I stand by it. I don't think Miami is that good. Yep, I don't think they're that good. I don't really want to get into much of the games with the Bengals-Raiders because Joe Burrow is putting up numbers. I want to save that for the Thursday night game. The Chargers beating Cleveland, kind of expected that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not really going to get into them. Do you guys really want to talk about New England Titans? I'll just say this. I'm going to give my quick thoughts on Drake Maye real fast because I know you guys want to get into better games, and I'm going to respect the man of the people. Okay? Drake Maye, to me, this was the first game I feel like he had some good moments, but he also had some bad moments that are learning experiences. Okay, some teaching tools. You got to throw that ball away on the fumble that basically gave Tennessee the lead right before overtime. And the first pick, he got baited. That was not a very good throw by him. You got to know that that's bait. Don't throw that. But he'll learn. I think he's going to be fine. He's doing a really good job processing plays this year. And then the second pick, I don't know if that was a throw that he forced on his own or if that was one where the receiver thought he was going to cut upfield instead of back outside. I don't know what that was about. But that was not a good route. Either way, that was a bad miscommunication. But either way, I think he's going to learn. I really liked the last drive, the 2-minute offense. I thought he did a tremendous job managing the 2-minute offense, which was good. I've seen it at the Texans game. This one, the throw to Ramondre gave me some early to mid-90s Brett Favre, and I swear I'll walk you guys through this real fast, where I was like, no, throw it away. And my friends were making fun of me of how the offensive lineman, Michael Jordan, was not blocking. I'm like, no, throw it away. And then he throws it. And I'm like, yes, he scored. I'm like, yes, he scored. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, just please make the extra point. And he made it to force overtime. And that's someone who plays it. I'm just like, that makes it so fun to watch this guy play. And you guys are probably like, Rich, how are you still watching New England play? I'm not going to be watching much longer, okay? But I do like to watch this kid play because this kid is honestly entertaining to watch. Last couple years, it was tough to watch this team play. All right, I honestly did not want to watch them much last year after 1-5. This year, it's a little weird because the kid's finally starting, and I want to be like, well, let me see what this kid's got. Like, let me see if we can build something, right? And I can't lie, he's actually fun to watch. I didn't watch the second half of the Jet game, honestly. I said it last week. I watched the Texan game because I wanted to get a good look at Houston, and I wanted to see how this kid would look in his first start. I can't lie. I actually would much rather enjoy watching this team play than last year's team, which was, to me, unwatchable. Last year was unwatchable. I could not even watch that team anymore. That's how bad we were. This year, we're watchable because of the kid. But I don't think he's actually playing that bad. I really don't. I think this was his first real game where I'm like, okay, he's got to learn some stuff. But I feel like that in the glimpses that I've seen him play, he's not doing bad. He's actually doing pretty good. And I feel like that, okay, like he's showed that he is the best quarterback on the roster right now. He has. But I'm not going to go into the Superman nickname. I'm not going to go into buying a jersey yet because I just think that I seen the movie with Mac Jones. I was like, okay, he looks good. And then we lose a playoff game. And then he just falls off from there because we don't build around him. So to me, it's like, I want to see us build around him. Do I think we will? I can't confidently say that yet. I hope we do. But I can't get my hopes up. I just cannot get my hopes up on this team. But I'm going to go to Commanders-Giants briefly. Jaden Daniels, he played really good. 15 to 22 for 209 and 2 touchdowns. Didn't play his best game, but he won. And the Giants, Daniel Jones, we'll get to in a minute, but Brian Robinson, a little bit banged up, right? But what a culture shock in Washington in a good way, right? Eckler had a rushing touchdown. Chris Rodriguez Jr. actually had 11 carries for 52 yards. McLaurin, one of the most underrated slept-on receivers. Finally glad he's getting a little bit of some national attention because this dude is really good. Noah Brown was their leading receiver, 5 for 60 yards. This reminds me a little bit of the supporting cast that C.J. Stroud had last year, although I think people would say that the Texans supporting cast last year was worse than what Washington has now. And I would say if you took Terry McLaurin out, I think it's literally subpar. You might say Stroud might have a little bit better of a supporting cast. I would probably not disagree with you there. But the reason I think that Jaden Daniels' supporting cast is a little bit similar to what Washington has now is because that other than McLaurin, would any of these receivers make a starting lineup in the NFL? You'd probably argue not. But this just shows you how some quarterbacks can come right in and do really well in the pros, but it's all about how you surround them too. And some of these not high-profile name receivers, some quarterbacks can elevate those guys. Some can't. But we also have to remember that some quarterbacks are not going to give you instant coffee results. It's rare that Jaden Daniels. It's rare that C.J. Stroud. It's rare that guys that come in and produce instant coffee results. I can remember Dak Prescott and Big Ben Roethlisberger, their rookie seasons. Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson provided really good stuff their rookie years, right? It's very rare that those guys can come in and produce really good numbers for a rookie quarterback. It's very rare that happens. And, some guys need a year or two to get the game a little bit. Some guys need 3 to 5 years to get it down. And I think we've gone away from the patience process, right? But I think Washington right now, for a franchise that hasn't really had a great franchise quarterback since Sammy Baugh, I mean, people could argue Joe Theismann was kind of that dude, but he really wasn't as long as Sammy Baugh was in Washington, right? But Theismann did put up some good seasons. And then Doug Williams and Mark Rippon, those guys were really for 1 year. And that was really more Gibbs than the actual quarterback play. But, to have a franchise guy since Sammy Baugh, Washington's got to be, feeling so good right now. And I might get my friend Vinny in to have the opening lounge time this season, too. I know that he wants to come back because he wants to talk about Jaden Daniels a little bit. I'm going to try to work that out with him because I know he wants to talk about Jaden Daniels a lot this season. But he's actually been, a huge part. Dante Fowler Jr., 2 sacks against the Giants. Why am I surprised? The Giants suck. Speaking of the Giants, Daniel Jones, he didn't turn it over, but I just don't see this guy being a long-term quarterback for them. Theo Johnson had a receiving touchdown. Malik Neighbors had 9 catches, 59 yards. They don't really have a bona fide receiver threat outside of Neighbors. Their defense was okay. They didn't get sacks. They didn't get any takeaways. They really didn't perform great. They had, 21 they allowed in the first half, and then they gave up 6 all second half. I mean, this is not a bad defense on paper. They're just all right. They need a lot to be good, and I think that the Giants, Daniel Jones is not the long-term quarterback solution. I don't know what Joe Schoen thinks. I don't know what Dayball and them are trying to prove, but I don't see it. Okay, and second of all, is Dayball now been involved in the analytics process? Because I don't know what the fuck he's doing with going for 2 every time. I cannot explain it because, well, what are you doing, bro? What are you going for 2 every time for? What? It's head scratching. It's head scratching to say the least, right? Broncos Ravens. I'm not going to get much into. I kind of figured Baltimore would crush Denver. Bo Nix is not as good as people think he is. Don't let people fool you. Cardinals, Bears. The Bears are in some serious dysfunction right now. I hope New England beats them this week. I don't think they will. But no, I'm not talking about the Cardinals. A, because we have a fake Cardinals fan that's watching and that he thinks he classifies himself as an NFL fan. He's never getting on Loungetime until he actually watches football. And the dude literally sleeps through his games. So, no, we're not talking about Bears-Cardinals. Sorry. We're not doing it. Although, I have to say in all seriousness, they are playing really good football right now. They've won, I believe it's now 3 straight. They're playing good football. No issue with Cardinals fans, I promise. It's one that watches the show that's a fake football fan. That's the one I have an issue with. And he happens to be my buddy's brother. So, all jokes aside, they are playing good football right now in all seriousness. But I don't want to talk about that game. Jaguars-Eagles, I mean, somebody needs to tell me why Nick Sirianni is purposely trying to lose his job. Because I've never seen a coach literally just... This guy, he's going to get in his own way soon. He is. And I was talking to a buddy of mine that's an Eagles fan. And he's like, I'm not worried about the players. I'm worried about the coach. Because they should be Dallas. And they really should. But this guy, I really want him to get fired. I really want this man to get fired. I'm getting fucking sick of him already. Like, I am at this point where, like, I just can't even, like, stomach this coach. I'm getting annoyed of him. Like, anytime I watch him, I'm like, I hope you fucking lose. Like, I really hope he loses. But this game, I actually wanted to see if Jacksonville would come back just to laugh in Nick Sirianni's face as to how shitty of a head coach he is. Like, this dude is so shit as managing the game as I probably... Like, I thought Brandon Staley was bad, and Brandon Staley is one of the worst I've ever seen. Sirianni went to a Super Bowl, but granted, Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson's team took him there. The only difference was Doug Peterson didn't start Jalen Hurts until he was about to get fired in Philly. And they didn't pick up A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. That was the only... And Darius Slay. That was the only difference, really, outside of maybe Hassan Reddick and stuff. But Howie Roseman would have still picked him up whether Doug Peterson was the coach or not. I guarantee that. Okay? But... This is getting to be a point where, like, for me, I like watching Saquon Barkley. That backwards hurdle, 2 touchdowns, that dude's a beast. I mean, if it wasn't for the season Derrick Henry was having, I'd probably say Saquon Barkley was the best running back in the league. But you know what? I'm also glad to see the Giants let them go, thinking Daniel Jones was the guy. They didn't want to pay Saquon all that money. How's that going for you now, Giants bandwagons? How's that going for you now? Because I was the one that said Saquon was the best player. Go look back and look at the first Loungetime episodes that were published. Yeah. I said that. Now those people that are Daniel Jones fans, that's not going well for you. That's really not. But Jaguars, they are plagued with just injury bug at the receiver position. Etienne's not really like the same, even though he was banged up with an injury. Trevor Lawrence, I thought he was really going to be good, and he just has not been the guy that has been worth the number 1 pick. And they paid him money, so now they're in really deep trouble with him. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do with him. Because now we're looking at his 4th year, right? Where we got to start saying, all right, well, what are we going to do here? Because this team's 2-7. They're not going anywhere this season. They were really in the right direction. And then last season, when they hit December into January, they hit a wall. And they start out losing, their first 4 games, right? And they just are not going to be that good of a team. Now, my thing is, I think Doug Peterson is going to get fired after this year, too. And I think that he's going to be done. Now, what happens with Trevor Lawrence, that's going to be an interesting situation because do you go with an offensive-minded coach to try to unlock his potential? Or do you say, okay, maybe we need defensive coach, but Trevor Lawrence, I'm going to face it. I thought he was the best college quarterback prospect I ever saw coming out of the draft. I might be wrong because he's not playing. He's not doing good in 4 years, and he should be literally in the class of a Josh Allen, of a Lamar, of a Joe Burrow, of a Mahomes. He's not been there. And I would say Stroud is basically now taking him as the best quarterback in the division. And you know what? He's definitely not in the top 10 now. I can't justify it. But that defense is bad too. They need a lot of help on defense because their defense can't stop a cold. But the Eagles, I'm telling you right now, they could score. They could score. They got some studs on defense. But the problem is, Sirianni's going to get in the way. All right? Lions-Packers. I loved watching this game. I absolutely love watching this game. I kind of stopped watching fourth quarter, but I got to talk about the Lions here, okay? I was one that did make fun of Dan Campbell with the biting kneecaps joke first year of Loungetime when we didn't air it, okay? I was one that did. I thought that he was, I don't want to say an airhead because I thought, like, he's obviously trying to motivate this team because there's not really a lot to be excited for that first season that he was there. But what he's done in 4 years, hats off to him, dude. Like, hats off to him. He is really doing a tremendous job with this team. They have a culture. They have an identity. They're playing great on both sides of the ball. I like this Zadarius pickup trade. Zadarius Smith pickup because I think that's going to be good if they can get Aiden Hutchinson back for the Super Bowl. I actually am not even joking when I say this too. You have no idea how bad I want the Lions to make the Super Bowl because they're the only threat that I think to the Chiefs of stopping a three-peat. That's how bad I want the Lions to win a Super Bowl. Plus, it would be their first in franchise history. And I think, if Dan Campbell and Jared Goff and those young pieces that they've built, if they were able to do that, that would be the greatest story in the NFL, probably in a long time. You could argue maybe Brady with Tampa in the first home Super Bowl, but I'm talking pure story since, and I got to go back a little bit, man. Like, I mean, again, I don't know if you want to say the Peyton Manning, Ray Lewis retirement stories. I'm talking about like a story of being a team that awful to being the rise of a powerhouse. And I got to look at like maybe, and I got to think back, man, right? Maybe the Rams of 99 was like that way. Or you got to go back to the Cowboys with like the early Jimmy days, maybe even the mid 90s Packers, right, a little bit. You got to go to like one of them stories. I would even say it's probably maybe the best story since the Rams of 99. Because the Rams of 99, the difference was they were awful under Vermeil for like 2-3 years, I want to say. And then 99, it just clicked because Trent Green went down, Kurt Warner comes in, and they light it up from there. And went on a fairy tale inning. This team, to me, has the opportunity to become the best story in the NFL if they were to cap it off with a Super Bowl win since the 99 Rams. And to me, I would not even entertain a discussion for anybody else. People could say, oh, the 07 Giants beating the Patriots. No. The reason I'm not going to say that is because the Lions have been known as a team that never got to a Super Bowl. They went to one championship game in 91, and it was with Barry Sanders. And they never won with Barry Sanders. They never won with Calvin Johnson. Okay? They have a chance to win it all this year with guys who I think are going to be studs in the pros from their draft class. Penei Sewell, one of my favorite offensive linemen to watch. That dude is a monster. Okay? Amon-Ra St. Brown, late round undrafted receiver, I think. It was either late round or like undrafted receiver to becoming one of the best in football right now. Aiden Hutchinson, hometown hero from Michigan, right? Okay? Jared Goff, people gave up on as the number one pick. Dude might be the Eli Manning of this era. Okay? Especially if he beats Mahomes. He might be Mahomes' version of Eli Manning if Goff beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Okay? Jameson Williams, beast of a deep threat. He's in suspension mode because he got himself in trouble. Montgomery gives good 1-2 punch at the backs, right? Right now is a good center. I think they still have Taylor Decker as a tackle. He's another good tackle, too, they have. Brian Branch is a good secondary guy. They got some dudes, man. All right? And this team, Kirby Joseph, an underrated safety in football right now. Like, guys, this would be the definition of basically the best story in the NFL if they won for a season since the Rams in 99. I think it would even be better. But I think people would say the Rams might be better because the Rams were horrible before 99. And they have the story to back them up. I think this team, though, would be the best story since the Rams, from what we've always viewed the Lions and stuff to be. I really hope this team does win a Super Bowl. I really do. I don't know if they. I mean, I think they have a really great shot this year to do it. I do. To beat Green Bay in Green Bay. Oh, but Jordan Love was hurt. I don't care. 17 points in the second quarter, and they got offense. I want to see if their defense can take that step up. I don't know if they can. I know they had the pick six on Jordan Love before the half. I don't know if that defense is good enough to win it. Because I'm looking at San Francisco looking shaky. The Rams gave them a game early in the year. I don't think Green Bay is going to be that bad again. Minnesota looks shaky. Washington's good. But they might give them a little bit of an interesting matchup. But the Lions could score. And that offense, Ben Johnson, the way he designs plays. Wish we would have got him over Mayo a little bit. But that's not the way the world works for me. But this team, they're going to be all right. Now, as far as getting into the numbers and stuff, I mean, I'll get into it real quickly. Jared Goff, I mean, he should be over Mahomes in MVP discussions. I don't care what you Chief bandwagons tell me. Jared Goff should be over Mahomes in MVP discussions. I'm not even joking when I say that. Jared Goff, the guy has completed, 10-plus passes in 4 games this season. His first 10 or 11 passes. For the first time, probably, ever? Like, come on, dude. He's in a rhythm where, he's just clicking, right? And he's just being the game manager that he needs to be, right? Montgomery, Gibbs, they'll do the heavy lifting. Gibbs had a rushing touchdown. St. Brown will get in the end zone. Laporta, Tim Patrick, and Allen Robinson, I mean, those are good receivers. But they're not even, bona fide, 2 and 3s. They could be 2 and 3s. They have experience being it, okay? Their defense, though, they didn't get a sack. They get the pick six, though. That's my only worry because that's why they needed Zadarius Smith. They need a pass rusher. They need somebody that can impact the quarterback. I think that's going to be the one reason I'm a little worried because they can't really get stops. Now, Jordan Love, 23-39, 273 yards, a pick. Didn't really do that great. Josh Jacobs ran the ball pretty nicely, 13 for 95. Manuel Wilson had a rushing touchdown. Jaden Reed, 5 for 113. Again, I think that their defense, they did get 2 sacks, right? I think they got 1 sack, actually. Yeah. They split it with Rashawn Gary and Aaron Mosby. But they didn't really get any big takeaways, right? But the Lions, guys, I'm telling you right now, they're the only hope for me being happy and not suffering from a Chiefs three-peat this offseason and being another unbearable offseason of the Chief bandwagons, right? That's our only hope. I don't know. I think they have a chance to do it. I do. I think this team is legitimately special. To go in to beat Green Bay is impressive. I'm telling you guys right now, if you guys want to watch a good Sunday night football game for those first-time Loungetime viewers or first-time football fans, please watch the Lions-Texans game. Lions-Texans is a must-watch game Sunday night. That's going to be must-see. I'm going to have to get some snacks for that game. That game's going to be good. All right? So that game's going to be awesome. Green Bay, though, oh my God, 1 for 4 in the red zone and 10 penalties for 67 yards. That is horrible. Although 2 for 4 for the Lions in the red zone is not great either, but that's still impressive. But 1 for 4 for Green Bay in the red zone, 10 penalties for 87 yards. That is going to be unacceptable. And that's what's going to get you in trouble. All right? Rams-Seattle. This was a good game. I saw a little bit of this game late as I was on my way back to Ryder. And this was a good game that the Rams, if there was one team I trust at 1-4 to get right, it's the Rams. They've won 3 straight now, and they look pretty damn good now with Nakua and cut back. I know Nakua got thrown out for a punch. I don't think that he should have been thrown out for that. That's me. But Seattle's defense, shaky once again, right? 25 or 44 for Matt Stafford, 298, 2 touchdowns a pick. Kyron Williams, a good all-around back in the league. And Kupp, 11 for 104. Robinson had the one-handed touchdown to win the game. 6 for 94, 2 touchdown scores. Geno Smith on Seattle. He only could take you so far. Like, Seattle has to seriously look at getting another quarterback. Geno Smith is not the dude that's going to take you to the second round or an NFC Championship game. He's just not. DK Metcalf, he's getting up there a little bit as far as age, right? I mean, he's been in what, since 2019? So 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. He's on 6 years, so he's almost entering 30, which is it's on the fringe. Like, very few great receivers can play well past 30. DK's still got the speed and stuff, but once you lose speed, they always say you lose a step. Kenneth Walker ran the ball pretty okay. And the Rams, their defense, they got 7 sacks and 11 quarterback hits, and they had a touchdown. Cameron Kitchens on a fumble. Or no, it was a pick. I'm sorry. Okay. The Rams defense played well on Geno Smith. Seattle's offensive line, Jared Verse is rookie of the year on defense right now, possibly. If this defense can play well like they did against Seattle, I'm telling you guys right now, they could make the second weekend of the playoffs. I won't rule out Sean McVay. Sean McVay is one of those coaches where I think, seriously, we have to look at Sean McVay and say that he's going to get them to where they can go. And I think he's a guy that, if they had Aaron Donald, I would have put them as the preseason Super Bowl favorites. I would have. They would have been my preseason Super Bowl pick. Aaron Donald retired, though, unfortunately. But I think this team, the way Verse could be, hopefully taking a step up, right? And I think that the way that offense can light it up, Kupp, Nakua, Robinson, Williams, Stafford's a good proven quarterback that's gotten to the playoffs and done something in the playoffs, right? This team, to me, could make the second weekend of the playoffs. Now, you're probably like, Rich, well, where do you rank them in the NFC? They're not better than Detroit, even though they gave Detroit a good game twice, okay? I still think that they could win their division. And if they ever win the division, it might be them and Green Bay. And I would say right now, they would beat Green Bay, in my opinion. They're not a bad team, okay? I think the Packers are better than them right now, but I think they could beat Green Bay if they get a home playoff game. If they go to Lambeau, they're capable of winning on the road, but I wouldn't like it. Although, I don't think they're going into Lambeau because Green Bay is going to be a wild card. But I'm saying if they went into, let's say, like the 49ers, if they, like now they're getting McCaffrey back, right? They could be a team to watch out for. In Washington, see, the only reason I would take them over Washington is because Washington's inexperienced. But Washington's playing good football right now. And they got a good game coming up this Sunday and on Thursday against the Eagles. That's going to be fun to watch, okay? I'm going to be glued to my TV watching Washington against Pittsburgh on Sunday. And I'm going to be watching the Thursday game. So I'm going to be getting a little bit more of a look on Jaden Daniels because, A, I like watching these young quarterbacks. And yes, I'm pulling out the nerd glasses because I am going to be taking some notes and making some interesting observations on what I am liking from Jaden Daniels. I've watched him a little bit this season, and I like what I'm seeing, but I want to get a little bit more of tape because that's what I was starting to do with C.J. Stroud a little bit last year because the Texans were good. I'm going to do the same thing for Jaden Daniels to get a little bit of look. So I will be watching. Back to Seattle. They've got problems on the offensive line. Their pass rush, no sacks. And I think that this Seattle team, they're not as good as people think they are. I didn't have them making the playoffs from the beginning because Pete Carroll was basically their guy that gave them a shot every year. McDonald's a good, decent defensive mind. I don't think he's a great head coach. 4 for 15 on third down. That's not good at all. The Rams weren't that much better anyway. 1 for 4 in the red zone. 12 penalties for 95 yards and 3 turnovers. Yeah, that's going to lose you games. And, yep, they are not that good of a team as far as defensively right now. Offensive line, they're in shambles a little bit. 1 for 4 in the red zone, not good. 3 turnovers and 12 penalties for 95 yards. That is not good. That's an undisciplined football team. 1 for 3 in the red zone for the Rams. 8 penalties for 83 yards. That's a little concerning. But I think that the Rams, right now, I can make a strong... I won't make a strong case. I could debatably say they're the second best team in the NFC. I could debatably say that. I think Washington is, non-biasedly, but the Rams, I think, are the team that if they play like they're playing like they were last year, and if they could get that similar second half surge, this team is going to be a team that gets the second weekend. The Niners have some question marks. Green Bay's got question marks. Washington's got inexperience. But if you told me Vegas had the Rams going to Washington in the playoffs, I'd take the Rams. Because Jaden Daniels, as much inexperience he may have, the Rams are not a bad team, guys. They're not a bad team. Okay? I'm not going to get into the Colts-Vikings because I don't really think the Colts are good with Flacco. I don't. He's 38. He's basically done. The Vikings, Sam Darnold, I think, is another guy. I don't know why. I just feel like their schedule looks nice, but they're going to be due for a second half decline again. And I think it's giving me vibes of 2022 where they got Flores, who I like as a defensive coach. When they hit that wall of those good teams and they played Detroit good, okay? But the Rams, remember, the Rams beat Minnesota at home. So I think once they play good teams, they're going to go downhill. They could make the playoffs. Jefferson's a great receiver. When they play a good team, it's going to be their undoing. All right? These cupcakes, they're going to be fine with for now, but they're not going to take them that far. Bucks Chiefs, I'm not talking about this game. Oh, did you see the throw Mahomes made to Hopkins? I didn't watch the game. I didn't want to watch the game. I'm not even lying to you guys. I watched the Rider men's basketball game at my radio station with a couple of my great friends, the men's basketball broadcast team. Okay, my guy Matt Brown, Jordan Hirsch, and then my news director, sports editor at the Rider News, Katie DiGiuseppe. Okay, I was sitting there with them at the radio station with my good friend Joe Greeno too at Rider watching the Rider men's basketball game at UCLA. I watched that game first half over watching that game Chiefs Tampa. I would not watch it. And then to one up that, I'd rather watch Gonzaga against Baylor. And oh my God, I want to talk college basketball, but then I'd be going a little too much with the lecture. But I want to talk about Gonzaga Baylor. I really, really do, man, because I can't lie. I liked what I saw, but it's an NFL show. I'll make it one episode of college basketball. I've been wanting to do a March Madness show so bad. But I liked what I saw from them. I did. I'd rather watch that game. And that game put the biggest smile on my face because they beat Baylor by 40. Even though the Tampa Bay Bucks, which you knew the minute they won the coin toss who was going to win the damn game. You just knew. Guys, I don't even want to watch them. They annoy me. I want to watch somebody beat them so bad because I absolutely fucking hate this Chief bandwagons. I do. Okay, I am so happy Washington got Marshawn Lattimore over them because I fucking hate this team. I hate this fucking bandwagon fan base. I am extremely annoyed of fucking media dick riding this team like there's no tomorrow. Guys, I'm not even joking. I have seen more people bow down and want this three-peat to happen over anybody that they fucking think can beat this team. I'm already waving the white flag. I don't think they're going to lose in the AFC. Because the next closest team to them is 2 losses. And although I like Pittsburgh's move at the trade deadline with Preston Smith and Mike Williams, I like that, but I don't think it moves the needle. I don't. But people have said to me, Rich, this team reminds me of the 2019 Patriots. They're due to lose. As much as I want to agree. I can't. I wave the white flag. I just don't think they're going to lose. I don't think they're going to lose in the AFC. The only hope I have is that Buffalo beats them in Week 11 in Buffalo, but Buffalo can beat them in the regular season. They just can't beat him in the postseason. Lamar Jackson, everybody's like, well, look at the way Lamar Jackson's playing. He's basically the modern-day Peyton Manning. First of all, no, he's not. Second of all, if anybody that says that, you need a straight-up drug test. I need to know what you need to be drug tested for saying that. That is extremely delusionally fucking false. It's not even funny to me. That is so wrong. See, if you want to compare how they are measuring up in the regular season, how they're performing, yes. But do not say to me with a straight face that Lamar Jackson's modern-day Peyton Manning. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Because Lamar Jackson has not won a signature postseason game on the road and has won a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning, I know it took him what? It took him what? 8 years to win a Super Bowl, right? So Lamar's been in the league, what, since 2018? So I'm looking at, what, 7 years? So it's close, but like, until he wins that game, I will then say he is a threat to Mahomes. I don't think he is. Okay, I think the Chiefs fear Joe Burrow more than they do Lamar. And I like Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Their defense is bad, which I'm going to get to actually right now because I'm not talking about the Chief bandwagons. I'm not. I fucking hate them. I will not talk about them. And fuck them because I absolutely despise them. Now let's get to this Thursday night game because this was a classic. You guys are like, get to the game, Rich. We will. Joe Burrow played as great of a game as he's played. The guy almost threw for back-to-back 5 touchdown games, guys. Back-to-back 5 touchdown games. Guys, do you know how insane that is? Like, guys, this is insane. 34 or 56 for 428 yards and 4 touchdowns. No picks, by the way. No picks. He threw the ball 56 times. 56 fucking times. Jamar Chase had 11 catches for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm going to say that again. Jamar Chase had 11 catches on 17 targets for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. I swear I was watching the Chiefs game 3 years ago when he completely bitched them. In the fucking regular season at that time. I swear I was watching that game. Or the game 3 years ago against the Ravens when he owned them that game. The fact they ran the ball 16 times is concerning. And they gave up 3 sacks. But man, this defense is pathetically bad though. Okay, no takeaways, no sacks. They gave up 35 points. You're basically asking Joe Burrow to go win a shootout every game. Now, I disagree with Shannon Sharp saying that Joe Burrow was the fault for the Washington game. He was definitely not. And if you're telling me with a straight face that it was Joe Burrow's fault this game, now, he did have 2, I think it was more play calling than the back-to-back throws. I know what people are going to say. The third down where they went deep, and then they went 4th down and 2, and they went deep, and I'm like, why? Now, I think it was the play call designed to take a shot outside, one-on-one. I disagree with the calls that they did. Now, do I think that's on Joe Burrow? To some part of extent, yes. But this really came down to the horrible thing of the referees deciding games again. I don't like the decision to go for 2. I understood why they did it. I kind of didn't like it in the moment, but I understood why now looking back on it because they weren't stopping Lamar. They weren't stopping Lamar in the 4th quarter. And I think Zach Taylor knew if we go for the win, we're going to do it. Did I like what they tried to call? No, not the play, but the fact they missed a face mask and a holding or whatever. I think there was 2 things. I know there was a face mask being one of them, and then there was a hold, I think. I swear the fucking referees are in the National Mahomes League, and they're finding ways to knock out the threats of Mahomes in their calculated ways. I swear it's happening. Because why else would the fucking refs not throw a flag in that situation? Oh, because guess what? The Ravens are less of a threat than the Bengals are. If the Bengals play the Chiefs, they might beat them. Do not tell me with a straight face The refs are not working for Mahomes, even when it's not his own games. This man literally, I swear they're trying to pave another path for Taylor Swift and the fucking bandwagons to go to another Super Bowl. But I'm telling you right now, nobody in the AFC is going to beat them in the playoffs. Nobody. I'm done. You could argue Baltimore till the cows come home. You could argue the Bills. You could argue the Steelers. You could argue the Texans. I'm done. The bandwagons are going to the Super Bowl to represent the AFC. The question is, will the Lions beat them in the Super Bowl if the Lions get there? Because if it's not the Lions in the Super Bowl, they're going to win it again. Lamar Jackson, 25-33 for 290 yards, 4 touchdowns. He really had a good passing performance. I just think he needs to prove it in the postseason. Henry had an average game, 16 for 68. Tyen Wallace, 3 for 115 and a touchdown. He had an 84-yard touchdown. Mark Andrews, 6 for 68 and a touchdown. Bateman had a touchdown, 6 for 54. Aguilar had a touchdown, trash. 3 sacks for the Ravens. Nnamdi Madubuike, dude is actually an underrated stud on the Ravens defense up front. Roquan Smith had fumble recovery. He's still a good linebacker. I know he might not have a great season right now, but he's having a good season, I feel like. 7-12 for the Ravens on third down. That's great. Above 50%, that's going to be great. Bengals were 50%. That's going to work, but you can't convert on fourth down. Both teams perfect in the red zone. 11 penalties for the Ravens, though, for 81 yards. Not going to get it done. And the Bengals, 1 turnover. That ended up being the difference of the game. Little things that matter in this game that are going to bite you in the ass when you can't convert. All right, let's go into the recaps because I want to quickly get by this. I want to get to watch the Ole Miss-Georgia game. I think that's just about to start. So I want to quickly breeze through these picks. We're going to go through the DraftKings odds, okay, because I want to pick my guarantees of what I like because I want to pick the guarantees that I like this week. So we're going to go through DraftKings, all right? I want to see, though, where they have the here we go, NFL odds. All right, so the Giants are 6.5-point favorites against the Panthers in Germany. I am not watching this game. Okay, I'd rather go to Dunkin' Donuts and go get donuts over there than watch that game. That's how bad that shit show is going to be. I'm taking the Giants to win because they should beat this horrible team. And if the Panthers win, then I'm going to be laughing at Giants fans because it's going to be great. But I'm going to say that the Giants win. I'm going to say it's going to be 24-16. I think the Giants will cover. I think they'll win. It will be a under, but I'm not taking that as an under guarantee. But the Giants, I'm going to take to beat the Carolina Panthers. I'm not guaranteeing it, though, but I wish I would take that. But give me the Giants to win 24-16 over Carolina. Bills and the Colts. Call me crazy. There is a thing called trap games. This smells as a trap game. And the over and under is 47. 46.5, really. But 47 is rounding it up. 46.5 over and under. Bills are favored by 4 in Colts. Flacco is old, right? But the Bills are looking ahead because they know Kansas City's coming up. And they go to Buffalo. I'm going bold, America. I'm going bold. I'm taking the underdog Colts. I think the Bills win, but they're not going to cover. All right? I'm going with the Bills to win 27-24. I think the Colts are going to hang in with the Bills, man. I wouldn't be shocked if the Colts won. Because, guys, think about this. The Colts are not looking good. Everybody thinks they're going to suck. The Bills are looking ahead to Kansas City. I'm taking the Colts plus the 4 points. I like this, and I think the Bills win 27-24 because I think this team, they're going to hang with them. The Bills are looking ahead. They're going to be looking at Kansas City. The defense is a little shaky to me in Buffalo, right? They're winning all these close games. It's going to catch up to them, and I think the Bills lose to the Colts. No, they'll beat the Colts. They just won't cover. 27-24, but I would not be surprised if the Colts end up pulling off the upset. Give me the Colts plus the 4. It's one of my best bets. Vikings-Jaguars in Jacksonville. don't like the Jaguars' defense at all. I am tempted to take Jacksonville plus the 7. I am tempted to. I don't think that. I don't think the Jags can beat them because I think the Vikings are not really that bad defensively, and I think that the Vikings offense is just going to light up Jacksonville. Give me Vikings to win. Give me the Vikings. I'm going to say 33-23 over the Jaguars. I think this will be an over, but I'm not going to guarantee an over. So I'm going to go 33-23. Vikings beat the Jaguars. Broncos Chiefs. You really want me to take Bo Nix plus 7.5 against the Chiefs in Arrowhead? No. No shot. No shot the Broncos have it. No shot. Now, I'm going to spoil something that you guys don't know. Uncle Al, who notoriously is known for coming on preseason and giving me his surprise teams every single season, I'm putting him on blast, had the Broncos as his surprise team. He hasn't called me once about it this entire season. Good. I don't want to fucking hear it right now. You ready for this? The bandwagons beat the Broncos, and they'll cover by 7.5. I guarantee that. You can tell me, Pat Surtain against Hopkins. Yeah, Pat Surtain will give him a fit. Kelsey, they're going to probably double team. The bandwagons are still going to win. So, but I'm going to say this. I am taking the bandwagons to win 20-10. I think the Broncos might give them a little fits. They'll still win. And everybody will be like, oh, look how great Mahomes played. Not buying it. 20-10 Chiefs over the Broncos. Kind of tempted to take the under. Falcons Saints in New Orleans. First game for the interim coach, Darren Rizzi, for the Saints. I don't know if I want to take Atlanta minus 3.5 in New Orleans. I don't know if I want it. I kind of want to take the Saints plus 3.5. I see, guys. I think a lot of underdogs are going to cover this weekend. I do. I don't think this is a week where I would love favorites. I don't. I'm gonna take the Saints to beat Atlanta. I don't think Atlanta's as good as people think. I don't think their pass rush is that good. I think people are really underestimating, like, Dennis Allen being gone is going to hurt them, right? But I have a sneaky feeling New Orleans is going to beat Atlanta. And it's always going to be those losses where people go, how the hell did you win that game? How did you lose that game? Atlanta's lost 3 times, right? To the Saints, they beat, right? And they barely beat them in Atlanta. I think the Saints get their revenge. And I'm taking New Orleans plus 3.5. I think this is a smelly game. Underdogs, again, I think if you're going to bet underdogs, this might be the weekend. I'm going to take New Orleans to win. 27-23. Give me the 3.5 with New Orleans. I'm taking them to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Steelers, Washington Commanders. I'm going to be paying attention to this game. All right, I'm going to take the under. This is a dead under between these two teams. I think that Jaden Daniels is going to have his hands full with TJ Watt. I love what the Steelers defense could do. I just don't know if they could score. I think Russell Wilson's going to help stay in the game. I don't know if he's going to make the play over Jaden Daniels to win this game. But I'm going to take... I don't like betting against Mike Tomlin. I'm going to take the under in this game. I'm taking Washington barely to win. I think it's going to be a game where it's a 23-21. I'm going to say right on the money. Under, I think that the Washington Commanders just squeak by the Pittsburgh Steelers because I think Jaden Daniels can make enough of more plays than I do again with Russell Wilson. I just think that Pittsburgh's offense is a little challenged. I don't know if they're going to get Mike Williams up to speed that quickly. I'm taking 23-21. Washington to beat the Commanders under 45 by a point. Niners in Tampa. I'm going to take the Niners with McCaffrey, but I'm going to take it with caution. I don't know if this will be 51 points. 50.5 is the over and under. I'm going to say that the Niners win 30-17. I don't think it's going to go over. I definitely think they can beat Tampa. I don't like what I'm seeing from Tampa lately. I think their defense showed that they're a little suspect against the Chiefs. I think that Kyle Shanahan is going to draw up something really nice. Give me the Niners to go into Tampa and win 30-17. New England at Chicago. Under. I don't think that the Patriots offense is going to score much. They're challenged. I think that Caleb Williams is going to have some points on New England, but I don't think it's going to be... I don't know if I would say it's going to be like 20 points. It could be 20 points. I do. I would take New England with the 6 to be like a fun, like joking thing, but I'm actually being serious when I do guarantees. I'm going to take the Bears to win 20-17. I don't think New England's going to do anything. Same score as the Titans game. I just don't think New England's going to have enough to score with Chicago. I would love if we beat Matt Eberflus. That dude is the worst coach in the NFL. And I'm not going to say over Canales because Canales is a shit roster and a terrible owner. But, dude, horrible head coach in the league. I almost think Matt Eberflus is horrible. I want to take New England plus 6. I can't. 20-17, New England beats... 20-17, Chicago beats New England. Titans-Chargers. Chargers win this convincingly. Mason Rudolph sucks. And the Chargers, guys, they are the dark horse of the AFC. Never doubt Jim Harbaugh. This man has them rolling. Chargers 27-10 over the Titans. Eagles, Cowboys. Over. Cooper Rush might get a garbage time touchdown late. Eagles are going to score. Eagles are going to score on this team. I got it 30. I got it 34-17. I think Dallas is going to score one garbage time touchdown late, but I think the Eagles light it up on them, man. I do. I think the Eagles over 43.5. I think it's a little too low. I think the Eagles are going to score on Dallas. Dallas can't stop a cold defensively. Give me the Eagles to win, though, 34-17 over Dallas Cowboys. Jets-Cardinals. Give me the home dog Cardinals to win. I'm against the Jets because I can't stand some of the Jet fans at Ryder. I can't stand them. Not Joe Greeno. Joe Greeno's a good dude. Although he did lie to me about the whole Garrett Wilson trade bullshit. That was fucked up, though. Give me the Cardinals to win. I think the Cardinals can score. I think the Jets are going to be in a little bit of a fight here. And the Cardinals are known for winning close games. Give me 26-23. Cardinals win another walk-off win, similar to that 98 team that went to the playoffs. Lions-Texans. Over! Give me the over. All right? This is going to be a high-scoring game, guys. I'm excited for this. I think that this is going to be a fun showcase of the Lions and the Texans. Both quarterbacks are going to be putting on a fun show. I love watching the Lions play the Texans. C.J. Stroud, I like watching him. Over. Something's got to give, though. Because I think the Lions are undefeated on the road. And the Texans are undefeated at home. I think the Texans are undefeated at home, right? I think so. I know I've seen some streak. Something's got to give. I hate saying this. The Lions lose. I'm taking the Texans plus the points. It's not a guarantee, but I would take the Texans plus the points today. They need this win. Nico Collins is back in the lineup. Tank Dell's going to be back to the number 2 role. I think if they can get the number 3 between John Mechie going or somebody else going right for the Texans, I think the Texans can beat Detroit. They're the one team I think that can go score to score with them. And I like the Texans to beat the Lions. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. I've got this game being, I said it's going to be over, right? So I'm going to say 28-23. Texans beat the Lions, and I like the 3.5 with the Texans. Dolphins-Rams. Oh, I love the Rams. Miami's going to score, but the Rams are going to score too. Over 49. We're going. All right? I love the Rams. I think the Rams are going to score on Miami. I think Sean McVay is going to have a game plan for this Miami Dolphins defense that is going to put them absolutely in shreds. I like the Rams to win. What are we at? 49. I like the Rams to win 30-24 over Miami. I'm going with the over. So let's talk about the guarantees one at a time. Let's go through this. Ready? Give me the Colts +4. All right, give me the Colts +4. I like that. See, my dad likes to say it's small play. I might do the +7 Jaguars, but I'm not going to do it. Give me the Colts +4, Saints +3.5. Under 45, Steelers, Washington Commanders. I'm not going to do +6 for New England. I'm not going to do under on the New England Chicago. I'm not going to do it. I backtracked out of that. Over 43.5, Eagles, Cowboys. Cardinals +2. Lions, Texans. Over 48.5, Texans +3.5. Rams, money line, over 49. So that is, let's count the plays. Colts +4, that's 1. Saints +3.5, that's 2. Under 45, Steelers, Washington, 3. Eagles, Dallas, over 43.5, that's 4. Cardinals money line, 5. Over 48.5, Lions, Texans, 6. +3.5 for the Texans, 7. 8, Rams money line, 9. Over 49 in the Rams, Dolphins. Guaranteed. Woo! 9 plays, baby. We're cooking. If you like underdogs, if you like some overs, I like this week for you, man. I do. I think this is a popular week, and I'm gonna take it and run. 9 bets. We're going odd number, right? We're gonna try to break 500, baby. I'm guaranteeing this is gonna be a good week, man. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Loungetime. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because we're gonna have an exciting second half lineup. We're bringing some guests in, some all you guys are gonna want to watch the second half content. We're gonna have some exciting episodes along the way, especially for the playoffs. You don't want to miss that. You guys hit that notification bell. Get all the latest notifications of when we drop NFL content. We're having it looking like either Fridays or Saturdays, depending on how it looks for my schedule. Sometimes Sunday, because I'm busy. All right. When I get back from the fall semester, we'll be doing it. I'll be recording most of it on Monday. Monday night action, I'll probably sneak in a video, and then I'll have it out for Tuesday. So we're looking at maybe Tuesdays when I get out for fall semester, depending on the schedule. And then you guys can follow me at Loungetime Pod on X. I post Thursday Night Football picks on there. Hey, if you guys want to bring up a topic on the show, let me know. You guys can also catch Loungetime episodes on there. All right, I post the episode links for you guys to view on X. All right? Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Loungetime. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I will see you guys next week on the next episode of Loungetime. Have a great NFL Sunday, everybody.